Hi everyone. I wanted to do another video on how to navigate the library's search engine. This video is going to focus on sort of what the different functions are on kind of this main page here. For this search, I've looked up African American in prison. That gave us a little over 1,000 results, and I want to walk you through just some of the things here. So let's start with this source. Examining factors associated with unprotected sexual behavior among Black African Americans post-release from incarceration in New York City. So that may not have anything to do with what you're writing about, but let's just pretend for a minute. The first thing you want to do is, of course, read the title. The title is going to give you an idea of what the source is about. But a lot of times that's not quite enough. So if we click this link, it's going to take us to a page that's going to give us some more information. Here we can see where it was published and when, which is important information. We're also going to see a list of subjects here. So these are different topics that this article talks about. And then most of these sources are going to have what we call an abstract, which is a summary of what this source talks about, what it argues, the conclusions that it reaches, that sort of thing. So first read the title, then read the abstract. And if the abstract sounds like the source will be useful to you, that's when you probably want to commit to reading or at least skimming the article. Research can take a very long time if you are trying to read every potentially interesting source that you come across. So always read the abstract. That'll give you an idea of whether or not you actually want to commit to the source. Another thing I want to talk about is DOIs. What a DOI is a digital object identifier. And what this is, it sort of functions as a link to the source. So I just copied that. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put in DOI, and I'm going to paste that. And that's going to take me to that source. Now, the reason why this exists is every time you use the library search engine, it's going to generate a new URL. So this right here, if I were to copy and paste this onto a document or put it in my works cited page or something, if I were to go back and click on this link or paste it into my browser, it wouldn't work. Because the way that the database works is it generates a new URL every time that you visit that source, which is why we have DOIs. DOIs provide us a permanent way to access that source. Now, not every source is going to come with a DOI, so what you can also do is go over here on the side. You have a bunch of options here. You can click permalink. And a permalink, just as the name suggests, is a permanent link. So if something doesn't have a DOI, you can use the permalink, and then that way you can access the source again without any trouble. I would, like when I'm conducting research, I always make sure to write down the title of something, as well as the DOI or the permalink. And then that way I can find the source again easily, because you don't want to, the night that you decide to write a paper or something, or if you need to go back and double check a citation, it can be kind of easy to lose track of the sources in the database. So you're going to want a permanent way to access them. So now how to actually read the source. If you go over here, you'll see there's a link to a PDF. I would ignore the HTML full text. That tends not to be a very helpful option. The PDF is usually going to be easier to read. So this is our source. And over here is a button where you can download the source. This is also something that I always do. I download it to my computer and then I upload it to my Google Drive. And in that way, whether or not I'm interested in the source or not, whether it ends up being useful to me, I have access to it anyways. And if I have it on my Google Drive, I can access it on my phone, on my tablet, on my computer, and I have no problems relocating the source again. Over here, you're gonna find a list of other options. I have not played around with these very much. You're welcome to try. I know that you can email it to yourself or save it directly to your Google Drive. What tends to work best for me is just downloading the document and kind of doing it manually, but there are some options here for you to explore. Let's go back to our result list, and I want to show you one more thing. Here we go. So some of your sources, let's say that you are interested in this source right here. So a lot of these sources are just going to have the PDF right here for you to click on. Notice that this one doesn't. What it does have, however, is a full text finder. So I'm going to click on that. What that's going to do is going to take me to a page that looks like this. And then here's a link, Find Full Text from Ohio Link Electronic Journal Center. And that's going to take me right to the source. So just because, a source maybe doesn't have a PDF right on this page, doesn't mean that you can't find it. Sometimes you just need to follow this full text finder, and you'll still be able to use the article. All right, I think that is going to be it for now. I will try to do another video about how to narrow your search options, but that is a video for another time.